Alright guys, I'm just going to get this set up. And then we are going to, start here. Okay. I'll have to say I do prefer S14 to R14 in this situation. Okay, yep, it's a pretty good move. I do prevent him from making any kind of extension here. That doesn't make much sense. Actually, no, this is bad by me. It's actually pretty bad by me. I shouldn't have done that. Should have just gone here myself. Yeah, that's actually a bad move by me. Really bad move by me. It's a huge advantage to him. Black is actually in a better shape right now. That was completely unnecessary. I don't really know why you would do that. Do I answer this or not? That's the real... Yeah, I'll answer this. But you just gave me a free move here, which is like really bad for you. So I'm not going to answer this anymore. I'm just going to play all the way down here. I don't think he has a good way to deal with this. But then again, I didn't really get that much territory coming up, which is problematic. I feel like this is a lot bigger than that over there. So I already have this out, and this doesn't really threaten any of this. And plus, like, I can always just do this. That still doesn't threaten me. He is trying to break my territory, and he has successfully broken a lot of it. But to me, it really doesn't matter because he doesn't have any territory either. I mean, that really doesn't matter all that much. I'm going to just go ahead and take this. Let's go ahead and do this. I don't even really need those 3 stones. Right now we're just trading territory, but I'm pretty sure this trade actually favors me by a lot. So if you look at like our territorial progress, I have this here, I have a little bit here, and I have some here. He doesn't really have any territory. He could take those 3 stones, but I don't really care about those 3 stones. So like if you actually match us up territory wise, he doesn't have as much. And he actually had a pretty big advantage after he did this. He had a huge advantage after he did this. But what you realize now is like he actually used a lot of his influence to not gain too much. And once again, you are making the mistake of trying to I think he's making the mistake of trying to get like points here when there's really not that many points here. Actually, that might have been a bad move. Like I can give up these two. That's not worth all that much. I should have done something else first, actually. So at this point, you got to ask, like, where is his territory? I don't think I can do this. No, I can't. I think that's just a mistake. Pretty sure that's just a mistake by him. But black was actually ahead by a lot. See, the thing is, I'm just not going to pay any attention to that because killing this entire group is going to be a lot bigger than these 4 stones. Obviously. I made a huge mistake here. And that error probably would not have bode well for me if I had been playing like someone of similar strength because this is like these points just aren't worth very much. Realistically, those points just aren't worth very much compared to what was lost. I probably can't do that. Just take those. I'll let him have this. It's fine.
Challenge received.
I'll probably take the challenge. I'll probably take that challenge after I finish and review this game. It's perfectly fine. Might as well just destroy all the points. It's fine. I think another critical error he made was like not letting me kill this, but like trading over here. All these moves are here for this over here. I think I got a pretty big advantage on that. It's fine. I should have done. Oh, that was bad. That was bad. I should have done something else. Oh, he should have definitely Haned this in response to that. The Hane was pretty big. Hello. I don't think. Do you need to do that? No, you might have. Don't know if there's any more points on the board. This is one of the worst games I played because I lost so much here in the beginning. And that influence should have translated into a win for black. And I will explain that later.
Pass. Remove the dead stones. You have won.
Yeah. So this black, I think, I held a lead for a very, very long time in this game. Like I said, I prefer this just because I think like the low high thing is better than this, but it doesn't really make too much of a difference. This here is fine. And then I do this. He does this. Pincer. I misplayed here definitely. I feel like I probably should have just jumped at this point. I think this is like a reactionary from me, but I think like jumping here is just better. But anyways, I did this. He repincered. That's kind of a weird move. I would probably just either do this or just jump here. I definitely should have just done this. I think. But me jump, that's probably not the best move. That's definitely a bad move. I definitely should have just done this. Yeah, that's a much, much better move. Much, much better move. So this is bad. This is bad. Obviously, following this down is even worse. I mean, it's not horrible for me, but like that wasn't necessary. I feel like jumping here is just better because you're threatening my two stones. Yeah, there's this cut here, but I'm probably not going to use this cut here. I mean, I guess I could threaten those. I wouldn't do that. I mean, if I were to do anything, it would be this and then jump. Try to threaten these stones. I think this is like an extra move right now that's not really that necessary. It's not too bad. That's a bad move by white because you can go this way. And like after I traded this, you can see that black is significantly ahead now. So like this trade, like this might seem like a lot of, this actually might seem like a lot of territory for white. But if you actually really think about this, like it's not that really that many points. Yeah, the corner is solidified, but it's really not that many points for white here. And black is getting a lot of outer territory. Plus, he made these two stones weak, so this is a really good trade for black. That's a good move. I'm gonna curl here, just regular Hane, and then invade. That's a bad move. I'm not going to answer that. And like here, you either Hane or rather you would probably just do this and go this way and maybe go this way. Probably wouldn't connect. You probably do this because that's a lot of influence that you can actually work with right there, and you can actually make quite a bit of territory right there. Yes, you do give up the bottom. You do actually give up the bottom, but that's not really so bad because you know like that's so much influence right there. So this invasion can actually turn out really bad for white. You just like the thing is you can't just leave this because like that doesn't really threaten me. Like that move doesn't do anything. Even if you could actually take these three stones the next move, I would still do this. This move is just so big because it wrecks your entire influence up here. So this move is incredibly crucial here because that forces me to actually connect. Actually, I might not. I might just do this, but it actually forces me to actually connect, and that's very crucial. So this is a really bad. This is actually a really bad exchange for black. This for this, because he missed this crucial move here, and then doing that like. I probably shouldn't. I shouldn't even have taken those two stones because that wasn't that big. I probably should have just like played something else over here because this is an exchange maybe like 10 points. Plus it makes the side a little weaker. I just decided to take it because like I wanted to solidify the corner. But then this is not like there's no real need to do this. Yeah, it makes you a little bit stronger, but I mean, like this doesn't really do much. This really doesn't do all that much. So, and I have a weak group here now, so this wasn't really all that. This definitely wasn't all that necessary. And now, like because you did these moves and you traded like all for these moves, you basically ruined your side and your influence. So now white is ahead because now I have this territory a little bit here, and like your influence isn't really worth all that much. So that's fine. I'm gonna fly all the way down here. That's actually a bad move. I probably should have just directly invaded here. Or actually just do this, that would have been fine as well. Or like even just, or like, even after you answered this, I could have just jumped here because that's actually quite big. I mean, like, because I have this here now, like this influence is actually very, very hard to make into territory. And now you kind of have to like subdue this because this is actually a lot of points. You have to subdue this because this is actually a lot of points now. And I've just expanded my side as well. So this was actually a pretty bad move for me. That obviously, okay, yeah. When I do this, I feel like black should just do this. Then I would probably do something like this, just to mitigate out this influence right here. Because like this already like like when I play this here, this already kind of like destroys half the point of your influence here. That's why like these couple of moves are so bad for black. This is just me grabbing Sente. That's not really worth anything. I was just thinking like I could do this and get this territory, but I'm thinking like is this territory, this is maybe like 15, 20 points, worth more than like all of this up here? And I was like, no, I would rather just play here. Doing that, I'm not going to answer that at all. I'm going to play up here. I might have been able to do that, but either way, like you're spending too many moves and you're not really threatening these stones. And you just let me break like, remember, you spent a lot of moves building this territory. Like you paid a large price building this territory. You spent a lot of moves. And taking that, yes, you do break my bottom territory, but the thing is I broke like all your influence here. There's not nearly as much potential here as there is here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this because I want to basically ensure that my group is like alive, right? So he's going to do that. I'm just going to play here to take the rest of this bottom territory. This does open up for things like this. That I'm just going to Atari here, and then you're going to do that. See, like there's not any territory to break down here now. So this move is just not that big. I'm going to go ahead and take this, and if so there is actually like this move, like stuff like this later on. It wouldn't work now, obviously, but later on it might. So I probably, like if I was black, I wouldn't answer right now. And then I'm going to go here just to protect this cut I was talking about. Because I actually do believe that this move is quite big right now. Something like this is very big right now. But I'm going to protect this. And of course, I'm not going to answer that because this is solidly like 7 or 8 points. And there's moves much bigger than 7 or 8 points, like this one. Destroying this territory. And of course, like this move here, like you almost have to, you should answer. First of all, like if you just do that, it's perfectly fine. Like this corner is still a lot of territory, and you reduce my territory. The thing is, like since you let me Hane, like I'm destroying your territory and I'm making more of my own territory. Then you spend another move like eating this. So like basically throughout like this exchange here, like throughout the exchange of these stones for these stones, and letting you get these stones for me destroying this territory up here. Basically, we went from like black. We essentially went from if you look at the score, we essentially went from like me playing really bad and getting black to like black plus 6.2 to white plus like essentially 26.4. And that's the huge difference. Like that's just how more efficient moves can actually affect the game. It's definitely how more efficient moves can affect the game. Because like I didn't kill anything of his here. Like there was no big battle. I didn't eat any of his groups or anything. But just due to those things, like me realizing, hey, you know what? Destroying this influence in this territory here is way bigger than this part down here. And of course, like destroying this side and coming up is way bigger than this over here. Like that's a swap of like 30 points. So that's how like I win games. That's how why I win pretty much every game against like lower Q players, because I just realize like what moves are just worth more and when there's just not a lot of potential for territory. So I'm just going to take steps to mitigate this territory. There's not too much up here. Take all the advantages. Going to play here. Fly into this territory. Doing this. Then I'm just going to sacrifice these stones. Because I know like if I sacrifice those, I'll still win. I'm going to do this. And then just do that. Obviously that's a bad move. But that's otherwise. You can't really break. You can't. If I do this, I basically go back. And now, like, yes, I've given you 5 or 6 points, but I've destroyed any kind of potential up here for a lot of territory. So that's obviously just a bad move. That's fine. I'm going to take advantage of this first. And then I'm going to Hane this. This is really big. Because obviously I ended up killing this group down here. But even if I didn't, this would actually be really big. Part of the reason it's big because it does solidify this group here. So like I Hane this. He does this. Then I'm going to do this. So you can actually just do this and then do this. I feel like, I feel like this is probably, I don't think this doesn't really work because this is actually alive. This group is definitely 100% alive. Obviously, you doing this, like, and then you doing that just kills the group. But I feel like there's too many ways that you can actually make this work. And then, like, this is just, I mean, like, you could actually, there's several ways you could actually make this work. So this is just a bad play because this group should have been alive regardless. Of course, like trying to threaten like when you're threatening my 4 stones, all right? When you're threatening my 4 stones, you kind of have to ask yourself, like, which is bigger, my stones down here or his 4 stones up here? Because your stones down here are so much bigger, I'm obviously going to be willing to make that trade. So you get the 4, I get this down here, I break this territory down here. You do that, and then, you know, like at this point, I'm way ahead, so I'm just not going to bother to fight this. Just going to take some Sentes and just win the game that way. So that's how this game was lost. Is essentially like building this influence was a great idea. I played really poorly here. Building this influence was such a great idea, but then again, like you basically just gave it up in this sequence here. So if you're going to build influence, you have to know how to use it right. And basically like spending a bunch of moves building influence, giving me territory, and then like on the other side, basically just giving it away, that will almost result always in a loss. So that is kind of a lesson how to use influence, how not to use influence. So I am going to
Game started.
Start this game now. Going to start this game now. I think this is unranked, right? Because this would be kind of weird if it was ranked. Hopefully it's not ranked. Eventually I'm going to start with a 10 gen one of these games. I'm not used to playing that way, though. It's not a bad move, honestly. It's not quite as efficient as the corner moves, but it does actually control a lot of ladders. I've actually had my dad play that against me. I thought it was kind of weird at first, but then he like beat me with it. I'm like, oh, okay, it does actually work. But then again, he's just a much better player than me, so it didn't really matter of like It didn't really matter where he played at the beginning. Generally, you want to play p2 here. This I am going to answer, but you do leave like the s2 here, and that could be sente in the future. So that's why you want to play p2. It's limited here, so I'm actually going to high pincer. I've been getting used to this move more and more now. I I definitely don't think it's the optimal move, but I've been falling in kind of in love with it for some reason. It's kind of weird. I was thinking about just doing this, but there's very limited potential over here, so that's why I didn't. Gotta extend that. Can't Atari this yet. Probably should have just jumped, honestly. It's probably the best move. Since I did that, though, I'm kind of stuck with it. That's not a good move. That is not a ko that you want to fight. That also doesn't make sense to connect down there. You either connect the ko or you fight the ko, and I would definitely connect the ko at this point.
Challenge received.
I only play 2 games a day, so I'm not going to play one after this. And I need to kill these spammers, obviously. Okay, first of all, I'm going to just take this first. Because even if you do that, like you're essentially just building me a thick wall. And if you decide to do it this way, it's a huge win for me if I get this extension. Ooh, no, you have to. That's pretty bad. Like you just gave up these 3 stones. That's not good, man. And it's Gote. Like you're trying to decrease my territory over here, but you're giving up way too much over here. Way too much. There's way too much given up there. Yes, these 3 stones aren't quite dead yet, but I don't really care about that right now. I don't know if necessarily if that was a good move for this situation. It's not bad, I'll give you that, but I just don't think it's such a great move for this particular situation. I mean, I haven't really played against it too much, though, is the thing. Could be a decent move, I don't know. I think I'm probably overplaying this, but we'll see. But this ladder does work for me. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You still have this problem here. I'm not going to let him do that because that's not worth it for me. I'm going to extend this out, definitely. That's very bad for him. Very, very bad for him. Gave me way too much influence here. He did solidify the corner. It is a lot of territory, but like, look at all the influence I have here now. I wonder if there's like an option to disable emojis in chat, because like all those like spammers basically depend on the emojis. So like I actually have a lot of potential for territory here now. Although realistically, like this is probably bigger, but still. Speaking of which, there is a really good invasion down here because he still has these. I will gladly trade that and just play down here. I'm not that interested in this territory. Definitely will do that. Because that ensures this territory down here is mine, which is more than enough to win. I'm going to take the bottom advantages. Yeah, this is... this might look like... I mean... This is a bad trade for him. Regardless of how you put it, it's actually a really bad trade for him. Get all the corner territory, and I get the bottom territory as well. He gets, like, he's just solidifying my territory. Like, you don't do things like that because it kills all the Aji. It kills all the Aji, and you're, like I said, you're only solidifying a couple points down here, so it's really not worth it. Like, look how much territory you're giving up down here versus how much you got here. That's just not very, that's not a lot. That's not really all that important. And like, something like this is going to be way more important as well in terms of shape. Because if you do this, like, at least you have like this much territory. But now since I've flown over, you can try to like cut me, but I don't think it'll be successful. So go ahead and solidify my territory over here. Like, I don't really need to do anything else here. Because like, there's just no territory here. Like, these moves actually look really smooth, but you have to ask, like, what is the point of these moves? Because like, there's basically no potential for territory. Like, those moves aren't really all that effectual at all. That's I mean, like a lot of SDK and DDK improvement is just like learning like which moves actually work better, like which moves are worth more, and getting kind of like a potential, like a feel for the game, so to speak. Like with this move, I'm building up this territory and I'm threatening this attack down here. No need to play that. I'm just going to retreat here. So, see, like, I've actually made this territory here very, very easily. He spent a lot of moves here, and all he got was these points. That's not really going to be all that effective. That's actually perfectly fine. I'm pretty happy just to give him the points. I don't really care. Give him this stone, as long as I get to solidify this territory. What? That doesn't make any sense. And that doesn't make any sense either. This is very big. When you play on the fourth line, some books I read seem to recommend mixing fourth third. I agree with that. I actually like mixing 4-3. I think like the low high combination is quite good. It depends on the situation though. It really depends on the situation. The thing is, like, when I came down here, he should have like haunted this corner, because like that's kind of a trade. Like I get one big move and you get another. If you let me get all the big closing moves, you're going to go down by a lot. So the trade is like, if I make one big move, you got to make the other big move. Because like otherwise, if you don't like otherwise if you don't do that, like whoever has Sente, whoever actually has Sente, I should have just gone here actually, but I mean whoever has Sente when the end game starts will always win. Okay, that's not that big. Like this is way way bigger. There's really no comparison between this and this. This is not worth any points. This is worth at least 6 or 7 points. So like I destroyed a ton of his territory, and that's just really not something that that's not that he didn't need to do that either. But that's not something that you want to do. Like he is letting me get all the Sentes. So the thing is that you can't really do this in a game, because like you can't really do this in a game. That's not worth it. You can't do this in a game, because then whoever actually has the move Sente will always win. Like I've gained probably 10 or 15 points just in the closing.
You're me.
I've probably gained 10 or 15 points just in the closing game. So like learning how to play the close is very important, and learning like how to trade with other people, like the points to trade with other people, is very very important as well. Otherwise, you're always going to lose in the closing. Oh wait, I made a mistake. That's fine though. Made a pretty big mistake actually. That's not, H3 was the move I was talking about. That's not the move I was talking about. Because H3 I can only play H2. If you extend, I have to extend, and you can get this, a stone here, but then I would actually get this in here, so I guess it's an okay trade. Actually, no, I wouldn't get that in there. So I would just be losing some points there. So that was the wrong move there. Like, I'm playing all the forcing moves. So every move I'm playing and he's responding, he's losing 1 or 2 points. If you can actually keep the initiative like this against your opponent, in the closing, you're going to win by a lot. Like if me and him were actually even going into the end game, I'd be ahead by like 15, 20 points. That's actually how important this is. And the game isn't even, obviously, but the game obviously isn't even, but like, that's how important the ending is. Dude, these are bots, man. They're not humans. These are bots. They're not humans. They basically spam on every single stream there is. The bots are annoying. I get them on my other streams as well. They're just like, they're relentless. The bots are pretty relentless. Just a lot more. This game was just about me playing more efficient Go than him. And, that's just something that comes with practice. Basically, efficient my way into a 100-point win. That's just, that's just how these games go.
You have won.
All right, let's go back and reviewing this game. Let's actually go back and review this game. So, this game was just about more efficient play. This is fine. This is not like the optimal move is here, but if I would probably just move here because this is going to be significantly better than this. This doesn't really do much. Like if you play here, this is no longer Sente, and if you play here, this is no longer Sente. But the thing is, like, if you play here, this could actually still be Sente in the future. So I went ahead and actually I should have just used this corner because since this is Sente, I don't really feel all that threatened, and I can just move here. But I just went ahead and moved here. That's perfectly fine. You do this. This is the correct move for me to expand, but I guess I'm just using the pincer's not too bad either. This is a better jumping out's a better move, and then eventually threatening the stone. So this it's fine. Yeah, like I said, I probably should have just jumped. This is not great. This is okay. That doesn't make any sense. This is definitely the move to go. Because this basically instantly gets me to Atari, and you don't want to fight this Ko with me right now. So extending is easily the right move here. Because like basically I'm saying I want this side, and I'll give you a little bit on this side. That's really what I'm saying when I do this. But if you give me this, you give me the entire wrap here. And that's where like you initially start losing. This particular move you can see is minus 12 points. So like the difference between this and this is very, very massive. So I'm gonna Atari, obviously. That doesn't really make any sense. If I do this, if I Atari, you connect. This group is not under threat because like you always have this move here. The thing is, if you connect here and I take it, yeah, I should have done this, but I take it. But the thing is, if you do this, I'm going to take this. And if you do this, yeah, like that is a trade for this side, but now I get the corner as well. That's why that's so much worse than the original thing. So I should have connected, but I just took this. But like connecting and taking this is only a difference of less like half a point, so it doesn't really matter that much for me. That's obviously a bad move. I'm definitely going to take this because taking this forces you to answer. Yes, you get some territory here, but I'm definitely going to expand down. I get to cut this. And obviously, like, the optimal move is to move here at this point, obviously, because you just, like, let this corner go. But the thing is, if you do this, I can do this. You take, and then I get this move now. So the thing is, like, you didn't really get too much. You got, like, a couple of points in the corner. I got to cut off these three, and I also, like, got all this corner space. So the trades, that's why I'm at plus 21.6 now. So that's a decent move. I'm going to force here. Yeah, this is probably the best move because it does threaten, like it does force me to do this. And you basically succeed in settling here while taking some of my territory. So that's going to be the best move there. This move is one I do more. This kind of move is one I do more and more now. But at this point, it's not a good move because I can't really invade the corner right now anyways. So either playing here or like definitely playing here is going to be much, much bigger than answering this move. So you do this, Hane. Yeah, that's definitely the right move. I was definitely testing you to see like how you would play, but that's 100%. Like if once I Hane, that's 100% the right move. This is too passive, and especially letting me get the double Hane. Like you have to do this first, and even if you do this and let me do this, you have to cut here first because that at least gets me a cutting point. Getting me the double Hane, doing that, you Atari'd the wrong one. You definitely Atari'd the wrong one. This is going to be the correct Atari. And extend out. Yes, this is a fighting sequence, but in this situation, you kind of have to fight. Because like, if you take my side and get these points, and then even if you let me break this, it's better for you than just playing passive right now. Because like doing this, and then doing that doesn't make any sense because. So I'm not going to do this. Like I could do that and it's still better for me. Like this is definitely better for white than black, but I don't want you to have this influence here and get the Sente. So that's why the optimal move here is to actually extend because black still has this problem in here he has to fix. So you obviously fix this problem. This is a better fix, obviously, because it's more territory. But you fix this problem, but I get this. So like, yes, you did get the corner, but you already spent 3 moves here initially. So you did solidify your corner, but I got too much influence and I solidify like this area. And I don't solidify it, but it's more or less mine. So doing that doesn't make any sense because there's no invasion down here and you don't threaten me up here. So what did I do with this move? Oh yeah, I played up here. I should have played down here, but I played up here. I'm expanding this influence. So doing that, that's not necessary at all, because there's like no way I'm gonna there's no way I'm gonna do this. That's not good for me. Connecting this, letting me get this, and then doing this. So like this move is kind of empty. You don't get much influence with this move. My head's already out this way, and I have a lot of influence over here. So this move is kind of empty. This is a much bigger move. And obviously so is this. So I'm going to gladly take the bottom right now. This is still the better move right now because that's still there. And then like this is also kind of empty as well because you can't really make any territory up here. Like if I actually play J17, like that's probably bigger than all the territory you're going to be able to make here. So I'm going to do this, and that obviously, that also solves kind of like this problem here. So in these 2 moves, you basically like gave me the entire bottom while not getting too much yourself. And yes, you can invade here, and at this point, I would probably just do this and solidify this territory. So like, you're doing that. I'm more than glad to actually Hane and take this huge advantage, because the thing is like, the points I'm getting down here is going to be more than the points you're getting up here. Because think about it, you gave away like, you literally gave away like 3 lines of points here. And you also let me completely just solidify this corner as well, while you got this much here, and you're still owing a move right there. So that like completely solidifies the bottom. This just solidifies the bottom even more. So that's why you're losing more and more points as you're doing this, because what you're doing here is not worth as much as what I'm doing down here. Because remember, each set of moves is a trade. You're not playing this in a vacuum. So that's like usually like a move like this would be really big, right? But the problem is like doing this doesn't really get you anything. There's no territory up here to be had. So I do this. That's see like there's no territory here. There's like no potential here. So these are kind of like empty moves. That's why like I do this first. And the thing is like think about it. If you didn't do this and you did this instead, the most I can do is do this. You would at least have this much territory. And also the AI is telling you to play here because there's really no way I can respond to this very well. And so you would actually be taking away a lot of territory up here for me. That's why the AI is actually like telling me to play that. So like you let me have this move, which actually reduces your territory while expanding mine. This move is also kind of empty because like I can always do this and you can't really do anything. And if I do this, like there's no territory for you up here. Like you're playing a bunch of moves that look really nice, but there's very little like potential for these moves. So I'm gonna go ahead and do. I shouldn't do that. There's no point in actually doing that move. And this is like, and you know like I mean if you did this right now, I'd probably do this and try to attack. But the thing is, the AI is telling you to do this because it calculates that I can't kill you. And if I can't kill you when you do this, this is definitely a bigger move. Because think about it, like here, if I play here, I destroy maybe 6 or 7 points. But if you play here, that's like 15, 20 points. So that's why it's telling you to do this and this. But the thing is like if you don't have confidence that you can actually get out of this or like live through my attack, then you probably shouldn't do that. Because it is kind of dangerous at this point since I have this stone here now. So I'm just gonna basically take all these like the thing is like since I know that you did this, I know you're gonna respond if I do these things. And that's just more for me. I'm gonna play down here. I'm gonna play down here to threaten this. You're gonna answer, and then I'm gonna play up here. The thing is, if you do this, I'm just going to eat this way and solidify myself. So that's how you play if he plays the tiger's mouth. So I do this, you do this, I'm going to play down here. Of course, that's fine because I'm more than happy to give you like this one stone. That's obviously a mistake. I wouldn't bother answering this. It's not very big. I would just go ahead and do this. That's huge. That's very, very big. So yeah. This is obviously a mistake. There's no point in doing that. There's also no point in doing this. I'm not going to be able to do anything down here. So you answered. I'm going to do this. So this move, I feel like you have to take the initiative and do this because even if I jump in here, you're generally alive if you do that. You're going to be okay for the most part. And like you jumping, like me trading this for this, if your group is actually alive. If your group is actually alive, like this is much bigger than this. So if you did this, if you did actually that, I would definitely block this first. And then you can just take the Hane first and then do this. And that's a pretty big exchange. You realize here that I'm only up by 75 and in the end I won by like 100. So like just from this point on, the ending game you lost about 25 points because you didn't do the sequencing right. Like you basically answered every single one of my moves. So with every single one of my moves, I'm actually pulling ahead. So if this was a close game, right now, you'd end up losing by about 25 points just because of the ending sequence. So I do this, you respond. I'm going to do this. Yeah, like when I do this, you absolutely have to either do this or do this. Because like I said, it's the trade of one big move for another big move. But if you just do this, you're basically letting me get all the big moves. And if you actually let me get all the big moves, you're just going to end up losing by more and more. There's also a move down here somewhere, but I don't really see it. So that's not worth anything. That's really not worth anything. This is a fake eye. There's no points here, and it doesn't threaten me. So I'm gonna do this first. I'm gonna do that, obviously. I mean, it's the AI is telling me I should do this first because you're probably gonna respond here. There is a little bit of Aji down there, but I don't really see how you can actually live. So here, obviously, and yeah, you kind of have to do this at this point. I can't invade down here, so this was like this move was unnecessary. That's fine, of course. And then this is really big because it actually solved the issue down here, I think. That doesn't really make any sense. I'm gonna do this. That also solves the issue down here, because remember, if I don't do this, this is actually, if I don't do this, this is actually Sente. So maybe there's something here. I would actually just block this way though. So I don't really see what you could do there, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, and then the rest of these, you just continue to answer my moves. Here, I want to explain one more thing. This is how you play this move, because I have to play it this way. That's how you would actually play this move. And right now, this wouldn't work because if I do this, I have to connect here, and this doesn't work. So that's why I said I made a mistake here. That's why I said I actually made a mistake here, and this was the move to actually make. But this is obviously wrong, so yeah. That was the game. That's where the big mistake is. Basically, like this corner, a huge mistake. You let me cut way too much, and here, like, if you really look at it, all you got in the end was like maybe 15 points here, and you let me get like 50 points here. So that was a huge thing. And then, of course, you have to work on the ending. So, so that is the explanation for now. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Is this what Katago does in its spare time? Well, Katago is an AI program, so it's always analyzing positions. So hit that bell notifications button. I will try to be back tomorrow. Try to play like 2 teaching games a day. Sometimes I only play 1. Sometimes I don't have time, but thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button.